I just felt like, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's, using what he got to shield him.
So when people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me.
Boxing is strictly for a check now. It's just all about getting a check. They're going to be fake fighting. They're going to probably fake fight 12 rounds.
I simply get the impression that he is one of these conceited little men who uses resources to protect himself when others say things like, "You don't know me as a person," or "You don't like me, you don't know me." Now that boxing is only done for money. It's all about getting a check, thus they're likely going to stage a fight. 12 rounds in a live interview following fresh accusations of rigging.
Tank said I was a meat lover. He came in, he was like, "Oh, this guy, you a meat lover."
But Tank would never even think about hesitating to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. If Tank get to pick his opponent, he would do it. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Y'all was doing the back and forth. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens? Or
Man,
is it
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. I don't like.
Just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
Yeah, I don't like nothing about him. I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's, using what he got to shield him. Like, he got a lot of security guards around him, and he know, he in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
I respect him as a fighter.
Yeah.
He definitely got skills. He got power. He got tremendous boxing ability. But like his core personality and his ways, nah.
Terrence Crawford chastised Javon Davis. In addition, but expresses dislike for Tank and his belief that Davis conceals his popularity and authority. Crawford indicated that Davis exploits his power to uphold his standing in boxing, even going so far as to rig bouts and sway judges' decisions.
Javante Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that's moving up 2 weight classes and daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow, man. Javante said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147 for him.
Ooh, see, oh, man.
You're going to have a pre-camp.
Then what the people going to say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
I don't know.
Tank claimed that I love meat, and he said, "Oh, this guy, you love meat," but Tank would never even consider hesitating to come up to 154. Okay, so what about 47? Tank would certainly do so if he could choose his opponent, but he would never come between 35 and 54. Around that time, you guys got into a back and forth on social media. Is that just you being competitive like that? Man, I simply don't like that guy. But why? Because I don't like him at all. He's not your cup of tea, and I don't like anything about him. I just feel like he's one of those haughty little guys who uses everything he has to protect himself. He has a lot of security guards around him, and he knows what I mean when he's in the spotlight and such. But in other situations, he wouldn't act that way. Do you like him as a fighter, though? You know what I mean when I say that I admire him as a fighter? He certainly has abilities, power, and amazing boxing talent, but I don't like his fundamental character or his methods. Terrence Crawford made fun of Javon Davis, casting doubt on his ability to be a real fighter.
Bro, when people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me. Like, you feel me? And I don't give a everybody has a clue with him.
Same question for you. You're a proud father.
Saying that if Davis really wants to be great, he should challenge him. Crawford's comments cast doubt on Davis's readiness to face difficult opponents, suggesting that he steers clear of actual difficulties in order to preserve his record. Gervonta Davis talking about you. Will there ever be a fight? If he wants to be great, he can be like all the other fighters who are moving up two-weight classes. And you know that if he wants to be great, you would fight them, tell him to come up there and win 54. Because he said, I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it while man T said you got a glass god.
See, this is why I just don't watch boxing anymore, because Lamont Roach versus Gervonta Davis, are we being so fucking serious right now? Boxing is strictly for a check now. It's just all about getting a check. They're going to be fake fighting. They're going to probably fake fight 12 rounds so they get the max amount of money. Gervonta Davis said he was going to retire after this so he could get...
Okay, now it's the Jig's turn to talk. Let's talk about it. Is Gervonta Davis fighting Roach, or is Roach fighting Tank for a check? Absolutely, I'll give it to him. He's not going to win this fight. Fuck it. And as much as guys seem like I hate Tank, which I really don't, you would think I would agree with her on some aspects of her argument or point, statement, whatever the fuck you want to call this bullshit. They're going to fake fight for 12 to maximize the payout? No, these guys don't get paid by the hour. Let's be blunt, let's be honest, let's get strictly to the point. Gervonta Tank Davis, there's nothing fake about his victims. I'm going to call them victims instead of opponents. I think that's more suitable. And we get it. His resume is absolute ass. His resume is shit. We get that. And this is the thing about Tank. Bombs are going to drop from the sky. Bombs are going to hail from his hands. Leather is going to be thrown. And there's going to be a 93% chance you're in the danger zone. And there's going to be a 100% chance that if you're in that danger zone, that bitch is going to hurt. There's nothing fake about this left hand Frank Martin caught. He happened to be one of the 93%. And he felt that motherfucker, and he felt all of it.
I'll make 147 for C. Oh man, you're going to have a pre-preep. Then what the people would say, oh, he's beating up on little guys. I'm not sure. On social media, famous boxer Terrence Crawford vented his annoyance, saying, they robbed that boy and it's crazy. His response highlights the intense debate around the fight's result and the growing perception that Lamont Roach Jr. was wrongfully denied triumph despite dubious times in the contest. Many fans and commentators agree with Crawford that Gervonta Davis was given the advantage by the judges and officiating.
So Gervonta Tank Davis has finally established himself as the biggest duck in boxing. There's always been a debate, we throw Brian Norman in there, we throw Canelo in there, then we got Tank, we have the top 3 pound-for-pound ducks. Tank has went head and shoulders above everybody else. He's become the undisputed pound-for-pound #1 duck in boxing. Yesterday, he had his press conference with Lamont Roach. He spoke about Shakur Stevenson. Let's take a look at it. So someone asked him about a Shakur fight. He immediately dismissed it. He said, and I quote, for what? What has Shakur done? What has he done in the sport? He hasn't done nothing. Keyshawn Davis is looking way better than him, and Keyshawn hasn't even done nothing. I'm afraid of what? For us fighters to be afraid of someone, it has to be someone who's hitting us and hurting us. He doesn't have no offense. Everything is defense. Defense only wins in basketball and football. That shit don't win in boxing. So this is a clear, obvious duck. The whole, what did you win, whatever. Shakur has won way more than Tank has won in his career. He's a 3-division unified champion, and he's actually fighting in his 3rd division where Tank isn't. And like I said, he's a unified champion. He's a silver medalist, so he's accomplished objectively more than Tank. Let me just get this right. You're not afraid of Shakur because he can't hurt you, he can't punch, and he's only defense. But you're not going to fight him. So if Shakur can't hurt you, if Shakur stands no chance, he hasn't done anything, he's some type of bum, but he's one of the biggest money fights you can take, why not just knock him out? Just make it look easy since he's such a bum, since he hasn't done anything and he can't hurt you. Just go in there and knock him out. The same way you made this Lamont Roach fight happen so quickly, same way you made Frank Martin, Hector Luis Garcia, all these other guys, Rolly Romero, Isak Cruz happen. Make Shakur happen. He'll take it in a heartbeat. Just go in there, stop him, take your $40-50 million check and just be gone with it. But he knows that won't happen. He knows more than likely Shakur would outpoint him about 9-3, 8-4. You guys let me know. Do you think Tank is obviously he's the #1 duck in boxing. Do you think he's an all-time great duck?
This decision has stoked continuous discussions over boxing corruption and the power of well-known fighters. Crawford's remarks reveal a larger dissatisfaction with the fairness of athletics and the idea that Dan was handled unfairly by Roach. Davis called Terrence Crawford a hater in response to his remarks. Davis expressed irritation with Crawford's comments, claiming they were unjust and without merit, and questioned how he could make such strong assertions about him without knowing him personally. The constant tension between the two boxers is increased by Davis's implication that people frequently condemn him without knowing his character. When individuals say things like, "You don't like me, you don't know me like you feel me," and "I don't get an everybody clue on me," I get the impression that he doesn't know me as a person. Many fans have expressed their dissatisfaction with the contentious outcome of the Lamont Roach versus Devon Davis fight, saying that boxing no longer feels like a legitimate sport. They believe that fights, especially high-profile ones involving well-known fighters like Gervin Davis, are now rigged.
Never in my life have I seen a boxer take a knee mid-round and the referee acts like it didn't even happen. And Tank's excuse was, "Oh, I got grease in my eye." It does not matter. You took a voluntary knee. That should be a 10-8 round. And again, the referee just acts like it was no big deal. And you probably had grease in your eye because Lamont Roach Jr. knocked the grease in your eye. Boxing is a beautiful sport. I love boxing. I have been watching boxing since before I could even talk. But it is the most corrupt sport in the world, and there truly is not a second place that's even close. They ended up scoring this fight a draw, which was BS even without the knockdown. But with the knockdown, this should have been a clear victory for Lamont Roach Jr. Just actually embarrassing for the sport of boxing. But everybody will wake up tomorrow. Everything will go back to normal. Nobody will care until the next robbery happens. It's just, it's old. It really is. But that's boxing for you. What can you do?
With the outcome appearing predetermined, critics contend that the entire 12-round match was manipulated and Davis knew the outcome before entering the ring. This belief has caused a serious backlash, with fans questioning the legitimacy of boxing as a whole. We're being so _ about Lamont Roach versus Gervonta Davis, which is why I simply no longer watch boxing, since boxing is now solely for financial gain.
The rounds, and before the action begins, so the clock hasn't started, the punches aren't being exchanged, and he goes, "Referee, I have a problem," and takes a knee in that moment. The referee can address it. "Well, the round hasn't started. What's going on with you? You know, you've had your minute. What's going on?" "Bit of grease has gone into my eye, referee. I can't see." "Okay, hold it. Get in. Clean his eye. Boom. Sound. Everything good." You can't do that mid-round. If you do that mid-round, especially after Roach has just landed a jab, for all we know, what if one of his knuckles just went straight into the eye? It's only a daft range-finding jab, but what if the knuckle or the thumb went into Gervonta Davis's eye? Maybe it pushed that little innocuous jab. Maybe it pushed the eyelashes under his eyelid so he couldn't see. He was blurred in that eye. Maybe in that second he couldn't open his eye. He panics, he takes a knee, runs to the corner, can't see out my eye. They get a towel, stroke it back. You can't do that. I'm sorry, this is a fight. You can't do that. You can't clean, without the referee saying, "Come in and clean his eye." You can't clean his eye without the referee stopping the fight. The fighter can't stop the fight. Steve Willis's initial instincts were dead right. He should have said, "What are you doing? I had something in my eye." I'm going, "Oh, fuck. I've got to take a point off." He hit you with a jab. You took a knee and he walked away. You weren't defending yourself. I have to take a point off. And in that moment, Steve Willis had to take, "I'm sorry, mate. I don't give a fuck whose show it is. Come with me. Stay there. Point off, point off, point off."